Hello Hexmaniacs, it's Eternal Lynn, and today we're gonna talk about the spookiest type, Ghost. It's one of my favorite types, and since it's Halloween, we're going to go trick-or-treating from house to house to see what Pokémon lives there. And here you go, I prepared a little candy bucket for you, so you can collect your trick-or-treat candy. Are you ready? Okay, let's head to the first street. Okay, the first house. Who could be living in here? It's Banette. It's almost always mentioned on lists of spooky Pokemon because it's a haunted doll, and that's really spooky. Except in my opinion, it doesn't really look like a doll. I've never seen a doll that looks like this. But it's a pretty cool Pokemon. It even has one of the best looking Megas, in my opinion. But actually, when I first fell in love with this Pokemon, it looked like this. Terrible! Like actually bad. And I still liked it somehow, probably just because it was ghost type, and we had very few ghost types for the first few generations. So I kind of had to like it, because it's all I had. But I think it had quite a glow up, and I'd probably still love it even if it looked the same, but I'm still glad they changed it up a little bit. Well, let's see what candy we get. It's some kind of caramel, who knows really. It's kind of a spooky candy. Hope it tastes nice. And we're heading over to the next house. It's Chandelure. And call me a moth, because lamp. But anyway, it's very spooky and it's very elegant. And I barely remember what my first black and white team was, but I know for a fact that I had a Chandelure. Because that was my favorite Pokemon from that generation, along with everyone else, because everyone likes Chandelure because it's a great Pokemon. So let's see what candy it gives us. It appears to be some kind of jelly candies. Kind of spooky looking. And the next house, weirdly shaped long house. Looks kind of familiar, but anyway, who lives here? It's Drifloon. It's one of those Pokemon that's just round and perfect. Round Pokemon are the cutest. And I remember back in Gen 4 when you had to wait until it was Friday for the chance to get just one of these. It made it seem really rare and special. And because Drifloon has such a simple but adorable design, I've drawn it probably a billion times. Because you just draw a circle and then you draw some clouds over it, and there you go, it's a Drifloon. Let's see what candy we get from Drifloon's house. It's a little praline of some sort. How cute. It's time to move on to the next street. Some new houses. Let's see who lives in this house. Ooh, it's Frostlass. Frostlass is clearly the superior evolution of Snorunt. I'm so happy it got an evolution that it deserves. I don't like Lally. It's just like a flying face. I'm not into it. Frostlass is really elegant. And it's kind of cool that it's an female only evolution. Although it would be really cool if there was a male Frostlass, which is why this one is kind of dressed up for Halloween as a Honchkrow, which has a very male look. I like the crossover there, I think that's pretty fun. This might also be a good time to point out that Frostlass did not get a Mega, but Glalie got a Mega. Why? Frostlass is the one I care about. No, it's fine, it's fine. Let's see what candy we get this time. We get some kind of weird licorice, even though I really don't like licorice, but they look cute. So thanks anyway, Frostlass. I appreciate it. We all do. Okay, time to knock on the other door of this weird house. Looks like it's Sableye. Sableye pretty much looks like a typical RPG goblin, but cuter. Its crystal eyes are just really pretty. And the explanation for the crystal on its body is that it eats them. Later they added that Sableye likes to eat Carbink, which is kind of scary. Poor Carbink! I don't want it to eat my other Pokemon. But it's really interesting when they add lore. I could imagine billionaires in the Pokemon world having Sableye as pets and just straight up feeding them crystals every day, just to flaunt how rich they are. You know what I mean? I bet someone in the Pokemon world would do that. And the candy we get this time, differently flavored caramels. Cool. Okay, let's head over to this house. Ooh, it's Duskull. I think Duskull was the first ghost type I really loved. Because my first game was Sapphire, so it's no surprise, it's a Gen 3 Pokemon that made me love ghosts. And what originally made me open my eyes to Duskull, or maybe open my eye, because it's only got one eye, but it's that scene in the anime. It's like the very first Hoenn episode, where May gets scared by a Duskull. I thought that was pretty funny when I was a kid. And I think it's a quite cute Pokemon despite it being like a floating skull with a single glowing eye. I don't know how they made that cute, but I find it cute. Let's see what candy we get from Duskull. It's a lollipop. And we're on a new street and we have new houses to knock on, so let's go into the first one. It's Zorua, specifically Hisuian Zorua, because that's the ghost type one, and this is a ghost type video, in case you had missed the point of this entire video only about ghosts. So Legends Arceus came out recently, well, it came out this year, which is, you know, recent in Pokemon history. So I'm still kind of riding the high of having a new Pokemon, well, a new Pokemon form, and you know, they had Zorua and Zorak, they had what I consider the best reveal Pokemon's ever done so far. In case you didn't see it or don't remember, they released a very spooky video of old found footage that was really blurry and you only heard some sounds. They didn't show the full video until a few days later. And even with the restored footage, you could interpret it as the human also turning into a ghost type, so to speak. I'm not sure he survived. It was brilliantly creepy. And of course the designs are amazing and contrast like really well to the, you know, regular forms that are just darker grey and red, and then we have these pure white. Very nice. And of course we get a rare candy, matching the one Zorua is wearing as a ribbon. Now who could be living in the mushroom house? Surely it's a mushroom Pokemon. No, just kidding. It's Runerigus. Runerigus or Runerigus? I'm not sure how to say it actually now that I think about it. But this guy. And anything that ties into Vikings I automatically love because that's my cultural heritage, you know? I would never have guessed they were making a runestone into an actual Pokemon, but I love it. And since it's a Viking inspired Pokemon, it means Vikings existed in the Pokemon world, which means Scandinavia existed, and there is a Scandinavian Pokemon region somewhere in the canon of the Pokemon world. Very exciting for me. Not for anyone else, but it's exciting for me. Let's see what this stony guy has to give us as a candy. It appears to be some kind of chocolate bar. Okay, but what about this house then? Who could be living here? And it's Aegislash. This is such a brilliant idea. Please lift up anyone who says Pokemon based on objects are uncreative and just like put them in the garbage bin where they belong, because this is like the most brilliant idea. Having Pokemon that are ghosts that like actually possess things, and then it's a sword, and then the sword when it's shiny is actually red like it's covered in the blood of its enemies. That is so wonderfully creepy. I love it so much. I wonder what kind of candy you get from a sword. It's a Pokepuff. It's very Cowell's region. And we're done with all the houses on the street, I think. No, wait, there's one more house. Well, house might not be the right word, because it's a giant castle. But hold on, what's that blocking the way for us? Could that be the special mention of the video? It is! Wow, and it's Mimikyu. Because I really love Mimikyu, but I would love it even more if it was actually a spooky, you know, dead Pikachu, and not just a costume. I just want like an actual Pikachu clone, ghost type. So with that out of the way, we should head over to the castle and see which one is the #1 spooky Pokemon. And of course, it's Pumpkaboo. Pumpkaboo is one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. I know it's the most Halloweeny Pokemon and most people probably think it looks very like seasonal because of it, but I still like it all year around. Pumpkaboo for Christmas, sure. Easter, naturally. Valentine's Day, well of course. You can never go wrong with Pumpkaboo. It's just too cute and it's too perfect. And what kind of candy do we get from the last house? We get a little cupcake. Oh wow, we finally visited all of the houses. I hope you enjoyed the candy you got. I hope you enjoyed the Pokemon. And I hope you have a really nice Halloween. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!